What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dad Dude, bringing you guys another video. The Panthers have been unusually active in the trade market leading up to the start of the season, and I gotta give Fitter credit for that. Compared to Panthers GMs of old, he has been very active in this trade market, and I like my GM, my coach, or my team president, whoever's making decisions on who players you trade or players you bring in. I want them to take chances. I want them to take leaps and see what they can get. Get a diamond in the rough, or get a player who was maybe not productive somewhere else that you think you can bring him in if he has the talent and he can be productive in your system. And that's what they're really hoping for with Laviska Shenault, because when I first heard about this trade, I was pretty excited, because I'm not going to lie, I don't watch a bunch of Jaguars film. I don't read up on the Jaguars. What I know about Laviska Shenault is what I read in the lead up to the 2020 draft, and I liked him in that pre-draft process. I liked his body type. I liked his playmaking ability. But really, from what I've read after the trade, he hasn't really turned out to be much in Jacksonville. He had an okay rookie year, but last year he had a bunch of drops. He doesn't run great routes. He's not really explosive out of his breaks. And as a receiver, I'm not excited about the trade, just as a receiver. But with his body type, his size, and with his ability with the ball in his hands, I think he has the ability to be a not as good Curtis Samuel. And when I say that, like, Curtis Samuel is extremely explosive. You know, as a receiver, it's better than Laviska Shenault. Curtis Samuel's big knock against him is he can't stay healthy. But when healthy, Curtis Samuel's a playmaker. I think Laviska Shenault can be a lesser version of him if you put him in the backfield, let him play alongside Christian McCaffrey, or like do the similar things that McCaffrey does, or you get him in space, get him with some screens, did like a whole screen package just for him. I think he can be really good in that role. Like, imagine a formation where you have two backs, like you have Baker in the shotgun. You have two backs with McCaffrey on one side, Shenault on the other. You have two wide outs, maybe one split wide, one in the slot, or wherever you want to put the wide outs at, but two wide outs and a tight end. Imagine the things you could do from that formation when you can motion McCaffrey out. You can motion Shenault out, and they can run a route. They can do, there's all kinds of things you can do with that formation, having those two players on the field at the same time, because you have matchup nightmares if you get, especially McCaffrey on a linebacker. But I'm assuming Shenault can beat most linebackers in coverage. Yeah, he might be slow his breaks and not explosive against corners, but against linebackers, I think he can be pretty good. I think he can beat a linebacker in space if you get him out and run a route. It can beat a linebacker. If he can't, that's really damning against him. But I think he can do that. Like, I choose to believe that a player of his athletic ability can beat a linebacker in space. And also, Shenault might be able to do all of that and be kind of a power back in our system, because Shenault is like damn near 230 pounds. Like, he's pretty big. He's like 6', 6'1", almost 230. I think he's like 227, 228 or something like that. At least he was in the pre-draft process. No telling what he is now. He might be heavier than that, or he could be a little lighter. But the guy is a pretty big dude. He could be, our quasi power back. You could put him back there in the power back role, and you still have the ability to motion him out, send him on different routes, so he can kind of fill the power back role that we thought Foreman would be for, and also still be a receiving back. So as a receiver, I don't like him. But as a running back who maybe splits out and does some receiver things half the time, but is mostly a running back, you want to get the ball in his hands, get him in space, maybe use him as a power back because he is kind of big. I love him in that role. And in that role, I think he can be very dynamic. Like, I think he can be a great complement to Christian McCaffrey, because he does similar things to McCaffrey. Now, McCaffrey's a better route runner than Shenault. I think he's more explosive than Shenault, but he's not as big as Shenault. So if Shenault can do kind of some of the stuff that McCaffrey does in the receiving game, but it's a little bigger, maybe can give you like a kind of that power running back / receiver role, and you can play them alongside each other, that would be great, because so far, the other running backs we had, you can't really put them on the field at the same time as McCaffrey. But with Shenault, you definitely can put him on the field with McCaffrey, and the defense doesn't know who's going to motion out, who's going to run around, who might stay in the backfield and block. That might be one thing that holds him back from that, because we don't know how good he is at blocking. Like, if I were the Panthers, I would spend the next 2 weeks just having Shenault doing blocking drills from the backfield as a running back, because that is where he really might need to improve to make this formation work. So I don't know about you guys, but I went from being excited about this trade to not excited at all, to when I found out that Shenault hasn't been good in Jacksonville, to when I think about it more and think about the versatility he can have if you put him in the backfield alongside McCaffrey. I'm now back to being excited about what he can do for the Panthers and what he can do in his offense and how dynamic he can be in a very specific role. But what do you guys think? Are you guys excited about Shenault? Do you think he'd be productive, or do you think that maybe this was a wasted trade? Although, given that we only gave up late round picks for him, it's hard to say this was a wasted trade. The potential you have in Shenault, I think, is worth what the Panthers gave up. Whether he pans out or not, giving up a few late round picks for a guy who was taken in the second round only a few years ago, I think makes him worth that. I think that gamble is a good risk in my opinion, and I gotta give Fitterer credit. Or, maybe Rule was in on this too. I'm guessing McAdoo was probably had some say in this, given that he was the OC for the Jags last year. I'm assuming that all these guys came together and they all agreed to make this trade. And I gotta give them credit for as much as I want to bash on some of the things that the Panthers organization has done recently. I think this Shenault trade was a good trade, whether it pans out or not. I just think it is overall a good risk to take. That's all I have for you in this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go hit that thumbs up. If you're so inclined, while you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Also, leave me a comment. Maybe you disagree with this trade. Maybe you don't think the gamble was worth the risk. Let me know. I'll respond to almost everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one.